This is Ben from Doctor Who Series Analysis here. Just here to tell you... yeah. That's my cat out there, by the way. Just to let you know that this is a video that was originally planned for my regular YouTube channel, because it's reached its 50th video now. Being a Doctor Who fan, decided to make it Doctor Who related. Since I've got the YouTube channel here for the Doctor Who page anyway, I thought it made sense to do an edited version for you guys as well. So here it is. I hope you like it. So what I plan to do for my 50th video, and I've planned this for a while, was come up with 50 really cool facts, and I know it sounds really lame, but 50 really interesting things that I find interesting to do with Doctor Who, because it's its 50th anniversary. We've got literally days till the new episode airs, and it's just good fun, isn't it? So if you're a new fan, then I hope you enjoy this. If you're an old fan, I hope you enjoy it, but you're probably going to know most of it. Alright, here we go. Number 1, William Hartnell, aka this guy, the first Doctor, aged 52 when he took the role, was the only Doctor to be televised smoking. He also used to forget his lines quite easily, so he placed his lines around the set, and that's probably the reason you see him walking about the TARDIS a lot during his reign as a Doctor. The first ever episode of Doctor Who was called An Unearthly Child, and it was first aired November 23rd, Saturday, at 5:15 PM. Interestingly enough, that picture is obviously from an original copy of the Radio Times, who have also covered Doctor Who ever since it began. Okay, so before we talk about the second Doctor, it makes more sense to talk about the concept of regeneration. It wasn't originally called regeneration, it was first called renewal. For anyone who doesn't know, the process of regeneration for a Time Lord is when the physical form of the Doctor dies in some way, whether that's age or being shot or any cause of death, really. What happens is basically the cells in their original body, upon death, instigate a process called regeneration, which then, I suppose, regenerates these cells into a different form, saving the Time Lord's life in general, but converting their physical form into something completely new. We're talking like new personality, new voice, new sense of humour, everything. This is the original regeneration scene, as courtesy of the BBC, and it's Will Hartnell regenerating into Patrick Troughton. The Vision mixer on here created this effect from a broken fader to create a flared and broken image. I guess you could say it was typically Doctor Who in the sense that they didn't know whether it would work, so it's sort of experimenting with new effects. One of the many things I love about the show. They're not afraid to try new things. Okay, so that was pretty cool. Let's talk about Patrick Troughton now. Patrick Troughton is one of the smallest of the Doctors. He isn't the smallest, Sylvester McCoy is the smallest. Sylvester McCoy is 5'6" and Patrick Troughton is 5'7". There's only a difference of an inch. It's good to know. Patrick's son, David Troughton, aka this guy, has actually been in an episode of Doctor Who with David Tennant, and in one audio adventure he even voiced the role of the Doctor. Okay, on to the legend himself, that is Jon Pertwee. Obviously I couldn't pass up the opportunity to wear a Jelly Baby t-shirt whilst talking about him. As mental as it probably sounds upon first impression, Jon Pertwee was actually one of the most badass of all the Doctors. I mean, we're talking fist fights, sword fights, karate. He was awesome.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's government property.
He was also famous for reversing the polarity of the neutron flow.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
He just does it so well, doesn't he? So that whole reverse of the polarity of the neutron flow line, that was basically because he had a lot of trouble remembering a lot of the long monologues in his script. He particularly liked the line, "I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow." It sort of became a regular thing for him because it was easier, put it simply. I might have got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. He's also well known for bringing the sonic screwdriver to the audience attention. He wasn't the first Doctor to actually use a sonic screwdriver in the show. That was Patrick Troughton in an episode in 1968 called Fury from the Deep. Jon Pertwee relied on his sonic screwdriver a lot, so he's more famous for making it well known. This right here, as it happens, isn't a Jon Pertwee sonic. His sonic screwdriver does actually look very similar. It's very much like this, except it doesn't have this here, and it's like a little bumblebee pattern around here. Pertwee played the role of the Doctor from 1970 to 1974. He then regenerated into Tom Baker in the episode Planet of the Spiders. Something I should have told you earlier is that the term regeneration didn't get introduced to the show until this episode, Planet of the Spiders. So Pertwee was one of the first Doctors to introduce that term to the audience as well. Doctor number 4, and for this one I'm going to have to put on my scarf. It's not exactly a very colourful one, but I didn't have a colourful one, so I hope you appreciate the effort still. Actually, come to think about it, I should probably put my Jelly Baby t-shirt on for this one. Yeah, sorry, the reason I put it on for the last one, I like to add, is John Pertwee did actually love Jelly Babies as well. But Tom Baker's addicted to him, so let's put the t-shirt on. Okay, Tom Baker, otherwise known as Tom Baker. He has to date had the longest tenure as the Doctor, lasting 7 years. He did 7 series of Doctor Who, 41 stories, which is a total of 172 episodes. Just wow. Here is his sonic screwdriver here. I love Tom Baker. He is amazing, and I'll tell you why. He's never professed to be an actor himself, he's just Tom Baker. He actually worked as a builder part-time whilst he was doing acting work before Doctor Who, because acting jobs were scarce at the time. What he brought to his Doctor was just that level of eccentricity and excitement. I think he played the Doctor really well because he wasn't afraid to bring humour to the show, from offering strangers jelly babies to light-hearted gags to the visual humour you can see on screen. He was awesome because he wasn't afraid to make the Doctor quite a funny, excitable guy, but he still maintained the fact that he was centuries old and had a dark side to his character as well as the lighter side on the surface. Number 5, this guy here, Peter Davison, the one who likes to wear cricket jumpers and decorative vegetables. Because Tom Baker had such a long run as the Doctor, they had new producers in that wanted to shake the show up, and they got rid of the Doctor's sonic screwdriver. I know, what the hell. Luckily it came back, obviously, but yeah, Peter Davison didn't have a sonic screwdriver, it got destroyed. Unfortunately for Peter, it was destroyed by the leader of the Pterodactyls in the 1982 episode The Visitation. One of the most interesting things about Peter Davison, in my opinion, is that he's actually this guy's father-in-law. That's David Tennant. For anyone who doesn't know what this is. For anyone who doesn't know who David Tennant is, and I don't know many people that don't, he plays the 10th incarnation of the Doctor. He's actually married to Peter Davison's daughter, Georgia Moffat, and they're about to have a child this year, so congrats to them both. One of the things that's awesome, though, is that his wife, Georgia Moffat, was actually in an episode with him, and she played his daughter. So, she's the daughter of a doctor twice. So...
She's my daughter.
Told you. Basically, she plays the daughter of the Doctor twice, and one of the Doctors is actually her husband in real life. You've got to love that, really, haven't you? That's just awesome. Okay, so next we're on to the first ginger Doctor, curly-haired Doctor, Colin Baker. I don't know if I have a coloured coat here. You'll get the reference in a second. This'll do nicely. As you can see from my visual representation here and the picture here, this Doctor's famous for having curly hair and a very colourful coat. Other notable facts about this Doctor is he actually had a role in Doctor Who before and shot the previous Doctor, Peter Davison. I'm not even lying. Unfortunately, I don't have a clip of it, but I can tell you it was from the episode The Arc of Infinity in 1983, Peter Davison. He plays Commander Maxwell, and he's one of the only people there that shoot the Doctor. He later on becomes the 6th incarnation of the Doctor, which is a bit mind-boggling, but it's Doctor Who, isn't it? So he's also famous for being the only actor ever to be sacked from the role. It was basically a production decision after a loss of viewers to hype the show up again by replacing him. As a result of this and other things, he refused to come back for a regeneration scene, which is also a first in Doctor Who history. This is why when you watch the regeneration scene in Time and the Rani, there's something just a little bit off with the face. That's Sylvester McCoy in a blonde wig. Oh my gosh, we've got 10 more points to go, and we've got about 5 Doctors, haven't we? Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith. I thought it would take a lot more effort to get to 50. I'm going to have to tone it down a little bit if that's alright with you guys. Change of t-shirt, just because I can. So let's just get a lot of stuff in one point here. Sylvester McCoy, he's the first Scottish Doctor. Obviously, there's David Tennant after him, both of which had to hide their accents, but he was the first Scottish Doctor. He had only one series of Doctor Who, and then it was cancelled until the 1996 film with Paul McGann. I really like him, he's awesome. He had a question mark umbrella, and he was just a lovely guy, wasn't he? He was quite cynical, but funny. He was a cool guy. Sylvester McCoy played the Doctor up until 1989. Then there was like a 7-year hiatus where there were no Doctor Who episodes at all. But the show lived on via audio adventures and comics etc. And then in 1996, the BBC finally got around to bringing Doctor Who back to our screens. This time it was in movie form, and it was with Paul McGann playing the Doctor, as I've said. It was the first time that the BBC have ever collaborated with the US for Doctor Who in general, especially on this scale. The budget was $5 million, and it was mainly an American film, basically. It was alright. It was alright. Paul McGann was a good Doctor, but it was highly American based, so it was didn't feel the same way that you would expect a Doctor Who episode to feel like, mainly because of that. So after the film, we then hear nothing from Doctor Who as far as episodes or films go for almost another 10 years. Fast forward to 2005, Russell T Davies has finally brought the series back to our screens. 13 episodes, a revival of Doctor Who for modern audiences, starring Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor. I would describe the series in more detail, but I think this guy does a pretty good job.
Do you want to come with me? Because if you do, then I should warn you. Because if you do, then I should warn you. You're going to see all sorts of things. Ghosts from the past, aliens from the future, the day the Earth died in a ball of flame. It won't be quiet, it won't be safe, and it won't be calm. But I tell you what it will be. Trip of a lifetime.
And it all begins with an episode called Rose, and it's just awesome. In this series, we see a revival of classic Doctor Who enemies, the Nestines, voiced by Nick Briggs, who also voices the Daleks, which is awesome. The Gelth. Plus, we see the arrival of Jack Harkness, who is now a classic character in Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston only agreed to do one series because he didn't want to be typecast as the Doctor, and only the Doctor. So at the end of the series, he regenerated in the episode The Parting of the Ways into the classic 10th incarnation of the Doctor, that is, David Tennant. I have 3 points left, so I will have to tell you what I think you don't already know about David Tennant, because most people that don't know about Doctor Who these days already know a lot about David Tennant. I love all the Doctors, okay, so I'm not gonna pick and choose one or the other. But I loved David Tennant's performance as the Doctor. He was fantastic. He did 3 series 2, 3 and 4, all with different companions actually. Something you may or may not know about David Tennant is that David Tennant isn't actually his name. His actual name is David MacDonald, and the reason that he changed it was because there's already a David MacDonald acting in the books of the Equity Union. The inspiration behind the last name Tennant was Neil Tennant from the Pet Shop Boys, which was one of his favourite bands growing up. During his reign as the Doctor, both him and Russell T Davies won awards for the show. He did 3 series 2, 3 and 4, with Russell T Davies as the executive producer and writer. They both decided to quit at the same time. David Tennant loved the job. He didn't want to continue playing the Doctor and bore people, if that makes sense. He wanted to leave at a good time, and he basically said that it just seemed like the right time because Russell T Davies was leaving as well. Cue really emotional regeneration scene in the new year of 2010, and... Okay, so it's not exactly Matt Smith's outfit, but it's the best I can do at the moment. Anyway, Matt Smith arrives on the scene in 2010, about April 11th, I think. I think it was April 11th, with the episode The 11th Hour. So it's a new era for Doctor Who, new Doctor, new companion, new adventures, new monsters actually. Since Matt Smith's been on board, we've been reintroduced to the Weeping Angels. Monsters called the Silence. We've got monsters called the Spoonheads in the opening episode of Series 7 Part 2. I've been told they're gonna cause some mayhem and maybe some flight trouble. Anyway, my point is, Matt Smith, ever since he's come on board, I think each series has been getting more cinematic, more energetic, and quite exciting. I like different things about each Doctor, but I'm particularly loving how cinematic all of Matt Smith's episodes are now, because it just has that powerful feel to them, and he plays the Doctor with a lot of quirkiness and a lot of excitement, but he plays him really well from a dark point of view as well, because he has a side to him. Obviously, being over 1,000 years old now, he's got quite a dark side to him, and I think Matt Smith plays that really well as well. I've got one more point to give you guys before I've reached 50 in this video. The sound of the TARDIS. That sound was created originally by basically scratching piano strings with a fork, I think, and the sound was then distorted to create the general TARDIS sound. I can't believe I got to 50. That's insane. Oh my god. Cheers for watching this far if you have, and I hope you enjoy the new series if you're going to watch it. If you don't watch it, then you're missing out, and I hope you enjoy it whenever you do watch it. I hope you're enjoying the purple glow, by the way. I like it. Should we see if I can touch it?
Had an awful lot of running to do.